out hell mode. Make sure our inventory is good to go. Okay, that looks good. Now that we're in hell mode, I'm gonna rock fade instead of a burst of speed. Still need to figure out how to get some more fire resistance somewhere, but I think overall we should be okay. Yeah, we're not one-shotting unique packs, but that's okay. I think we'll be just fine. Man, I love just all of the unique and champion packs in hell mode. You forget about it until you start questing in hell mode again, and I really do enjoy questing through hell mode. It's I like the good gear starts dropping. Like, you know, you get to the point where all the good stuff can start dropping really quick, including rune word bases and all that fun stuff. Let's see, Flavy. Where did it... Oh, here's the Den of Evil. I was gonna say we followed the road, should have ran into Den of Evil, but guess I just slipped right by. I need to make sure that I got my YouTube chat thing going on. I think I figured out how to read my YouTube chat in game now, but just to be safe, we're gonna go ahead and set it up on my phone. So don't want anybody to feel like they're left out. See if we can actually make it through Den of Evil without missing something. Hate it when it's like there is one monster remaining and you have to run all the way through the entire thing and try and find them. So we're going to try and avoid that. Usually ends up being like one fallen that gets resurrected by a shaman off of your screen, and yeah, that happens to me almost every time, man. I hate it, but although it seems to be better like running on a summoner because you have all your minions running around killing stuff, and yeah, I don't think that the physical immunes are going to be much of a problem, so that's nice. Yay, we managed to not miss anything. For probably the first time in years that I haven't missed at least one thing. So I'll take it. I'm gonna say hi to Flavy and see what she's up to. And stand here shooting a gargantuan beast. Okay. Good job, Flavy. Keep it up. Fire Shrine. Don't click on that. It just kills me. Yeah. Should go see if we can kill Bloodraven. I know that she's pretty tough, man, on hell mode. I'm hoping that my assassin's able to run things like keys pretty soon. So we'll have to go give her a shot. Okay. Fork in the road. Let's try it this way. Amulet. Still looking for a +3 to shadow skills circlet. I spent most all day running solo nightmare bail runs. I got up to 73, 74. And spent all of my gold trying to gamble circlets. And got a +3 to paladin combat skills circlet, but didn't have any luck trying to get the shadow circlet. We'll get there sooner or later. Stony Field, we'll go back and... Guess we took the wrong way, so... Just about got Mind Blast and Psychic Hammer fully synergized. We've got a few more levels to go. But we almost got it maxed out. Not sure what I want to put points into after that. I'm thinking probably Fade. With the reduced survivability stats on all the endgame gear, Fade just seems like it's going to be so handy. Oh, hey, alright, we're starting out good. Istruin drop. I'll take that. Oh. Myrtle. Lost Myrtle. I don't know where she went. I don't know if it's just because my assassin runs faster than my necromancer or druids, but Myrtle sure seems to get lost a lot. Okay, Bloodraven, here we go. Hopefully she's not too mean. Trellised armor. Oh man, those things are fast. Why attack Wahid, not me. Look at Myrtle tanking that stuff like a boss. Holy cow, these guys are... Okay, guys. These zombies move way too fast. They're kind of freaking me out. Bloodraven, where'd you go? Oh, there she is. It looks like we got her. Unless something jumps out and surprises me. Wonder if magic damage does more to her. I'll have to look up all the boss fights and see whether they're more resistant to physical or magic damage. Oh, now she's running and hiding. And no key. We'll take it, guys. Ooh, green fanged helmet. I wonder if that's +2 to barb skills. Yep. Didn't look like anything else good on it, but that's alright. Throw a burst of speed on for running back. Guess we can go kill Rakanishu. Okay. Go find the waypoint right here. So I tried to take the stream delay off, but I guess I didn't do it right, or it just is something that happens. I know that there's about 15 or 20 seconds between what I'm seeing and what you guys see. I'm not really familiar enough with the settings to take it off, I guess. You know, there was a button that said enable stream delay, and I unchecked it, so I thought that would get rid of it, but I guess not. So Wardaddy, how you doing today? Man, there's so many things with fanaticism in this map. That's like the 4th or 5th guy that I've ran across that has had fanaticism. Grab this amulet. I don't know about you guys, but I try and pick up like every blue amulet just because I'm one day I hope to have, you know, +3 to skills with faster cast rate or 90 plus life, and then slam 1 to all skills on it. Even in Path of Diablo, I never had a +4 to any skills amulet. So I guess that means I'm past due, and hopefully I'll get one here sometime soon. And now you can slam +1 to skills on helmets in PD2, so maybe we can get a +4 amulet and a +4 circlet. 8 to skills between amulet and helm slot would be pretty awesome. I'm doing pretty good, man. I had kind of a rough day with my little guy, but now he's at his mom's, and so I'm just kind of been hanging out, relaxing, had some dinner, and then figured I'd jump on and play some Diablo 2, so. What bow are you using now? I'm really liking the Mind Blast Assassin, Nigel. It's been pretty fantastic so far. Hold on just 1 second. Well, I figured out how to see my YouTube chat in, like, in my Streamlabs thing, but it doesn't pop up on my overlay, so that's kind of annoying. Maybe one of these days I'll get a second monitor. That'd be pretty awesome, really. Is it the demon machine? I've been dropping demon machines like crazy. I think I've found 3 or 4 of them now, and I feel like they'd be a really good crossbow to use. It's having the chance to revive things as fallen would be super good. You know, it's kind of like the mini proc Langer Bruiser. Yeah, that one's not bad. That's the one with Magic Find on it, isn't it? Oh, I don't have Cane to identify all my crap. But yeah, Nigel, by the way, thanks for the subscribe on YouTube. I appreciate that. But I would, if you're getting gear drops for them, you should try it out. It's been one of the strongest builds that I've seen so far. As far as just questing through Hell mode and all the, or, you know, playing through Nightmare mode and now into Hell mode. It's definitely worth a shot. I saw a screenshot that you can get it up to like 13,000 damage and then 12,000 damage on your Mind Blast, and you know, I'm only at 3,000 damage and it's doing pretty good, so seems like those plus skills were really going to help out later on. And plus skills are definitely king in this mod, for sure. Alright, waypoint. Now we gotta go find that tree. The Scroll of Inifus, or whatever it's called. Well, we lost Myrtle again. Man, she just keeps wandering off, I guess. You guys ever notice that usually these guys, Treehead, Woodfist, and his brute minions, tend to find you before you find them? Ow. Oh, that's pretty cool. Do you have any other characters, or is that your first one that you've made? Because if you can find a good base for it, it's a fairly cheap rune word to use that's actually pretty strong, is Harmony. It's got close to, I think it's 270 or 275% enhanced damage or something like that. Gives you vigor aura, so if you find a halfway decent 4-socket bow, I leveled his Mind Blast, so I haven't used any respecs at all, and I think that it would have been easier to level through like Act 3 Nightmare mode as Fire Trap and then switch to Mind Blast. But really, as soon as I got insight for my mercenary to help with the mana problems, Mind Blast has been awesome. Prior to level 27, it was a little bit slow going, but not bad. I think that if I were to do it again, I would just try and find a couple 3-socket claws and filling them up with tier runes to get the mana per kill. But if you don't mind using a respec, then I would probably go with leveling as fire traps and then respecing to Mind Blast later on. Hey, thanks for subscribing, Colin. I appreciate that. Myrtle, again. Man. Am I just not seeing her die, or does she just get lost and despawn? So yeah, Wardaddy, I'd say if you try and look for a 4-socket bow, even on, well, now that you're in nightmare mode, you can drop them in nightmare mode, but if you get a 4-socket Grand Matron bow or even a matriarchal bow, that'd be really solid to make harmony in, and that'll last your Amazon for quite a while. Yeah, I want to find the waypoint before we go do tower. Have you guys ever skipped finding the waypoint and ran tower and then had to run back either from your town portal all the way back from level 5 or from Stony Field? Speaking of which, I guess I could go save Kane. Ha! I love it when it actually draws a star shape. That very rarely happens. So yeah. That, and I like it when it just goes in a circle. I think I've only had it go in a circle like twice in my life. I don't think the Act 3 mercs give meditation. I thought the Act 3 merc had Holy Shock, or Cleanse, or Prayer. The Act 2, or Act 1 Cold Mercenary gives meditation, though. And my ultimate goal is to probably have the Act 1 Cold Mercenary with meditation using the Wrath rune word to proc amp damage. And even then, I'm not sure, especially if I can get a second Shadow Killer. I've only got one right now, which I can't even use it until level 78. But if I can get a second one, they add so much mana per kill that I might not even need meditation. I mean, the one that I have in here is 14 mana after each kill, so, with two of those having 30 something, close to 30 mana per kill, might not even really need, I can just use mana potions against bosses and stuff like that, so. What? But I think a Act 1 meditation merc, even with like something like Harmony for Vigor, would be really solid. We've got a buddy that he runs the meditation merc with a Harmony Chuko Nu, which is, if you, by the way, if you're making rune words for an Act 1 mercenary, try to get it in either a demon crossbow or a Chuko Nu, because they only need 8% increased attack speed to hit their maximum great point. Hey, thanks for subscribing, Jeffrey. I appreciate that. Yeah, one of these bad boys right here. They have minus 60 base weapon speed, so you only need 8% increased attack speed on a mercenary to hit 8 frame attack. Oh, ow, ow. That was not nice. I should probably pick up some of these healing potions. Oh, and I got rid of my spirit shroud, so I don't have can't be frozen anymore. That kind of disappoints me, but I upgraded to a Natalia's with +3 to shadow disciplines and got some magic find on there, so that's pretty nice. I'd like to try and get this girl up to 300% magic find or more, because I think that I can still have really good damage output when, you know, using like Shaco, the Nat's armor, maybe get some War Travelers or something. And I think the Mind Blast Assassin can actually fit in quite a bit of magic find and still have enough damage to do maps pretty quick. So that's my ultimate endgame goal with her, is to be able to map with a fair amount of magic find. So hey, Jacob. Farming hell cows, huh? I really haven't done hardly any hell cows in PD2. In fact, I'm not even sure if I've actually ran hell cows at all. I know I did a few nightmare runs, but I don't think I've done any hell mode cows. But they're definitely a good place to farm runeward bases in, though. But on my druid, I just kind of went from... I farmed pits for a little while, and then went straight to Chaos Sanctuary, and then from Chaos, I started doing maps. So I just kind of skipped the whole cow phase. But I've heard quite a few people having a lot of really good luck running cows, though. Oh, oh. Lots of fireballs flying at me. Dark Adherent. Found the belt to that set earlier. I think the whole set is actually pretty good now. I think it adds quite a bit of enhanced damage. Yeah, maps are pretty tough. They've slowly been scaling back the tier 1 map, but I feel like the tier 3 map just keeps getting harder. Like when I first started running maps before they started like doing any of the balance changes where they reduced hit points and stuff, you know, the tier 3 map was the easiest one for me, other than the boss. The boss, I mean, he just hits so hard. And at that point in time, I was running a no bear elemental build, so I didn't have my bear to tank, and my mercenary just kept dying horribly to the Lister boss guy. And we should go get the malice before I leave here. But I had the easiest time running tier 3 maps and the hardest time running tier 1. But they've kind of nerfed the tier 1 map a few times now. They lowered the poison damage, they lowered mob health, and then they also increased the density. Oh. They should... I don't know what that was, but it hurt. Alright. You can go ahead and try. Yeah, Charcy or Roderick Malice. Oh, you know Charcy, she loves that D. I still don't much care for the tier 1 map just because I feel like I get swarmed from everything on all sides, but... You know, I didn't even, on my druid, I didn't even take, when I respec, I didn't even take Oak Sage. You know, it adds such little life, it has such horrible survivability in maps that it just... You know, it was dead most of the time, and I didn't feel like the small amount of life was worth even just getting 1 point into it. And, you know, now that I have the bear, the entire build is so much more durable. And I still need, I'm level 88 now, I need level 92 to get my second bear. I still got 4 more points to go, but I really highly recommend getting the bear. It made the whole build just so much better. Alright, where's level 2? Yeah, the first time around, I actually ended up putting max points into Gust to get down to a half-second cooldown. And, I mean, it was cool because I was able to, you know, kind of, sort of teleport, like, with very little cooldown. It's... The half-second cooldown is effectively a 12.5 frame teleport. So now with teleport being on the lightning FCR frames, it's, you know, it takes 117 FCR on a sorceress to get to 12 frames, so it's pretty much the same exact speed as teleport is now. And I mean, it was cool, but I didn't take the bear, and now I've got enough plus skills to where just having 1 point in Gust, I'm down to like a 3-second cooldown. And, you know, and that's fine for repositioning and stuff like that. And, you know, the only thing I'm missing out on is I don't farm Mephisto at all. And I really don't care about that. So, extra points in Gust. You know, if I get past level 92, then I'll probably put those points towards Gust. But, you know, the bear is definitely where it's at. And it helped out so much on even farming Hell Bale. Like, Bale just seems like he's kind of rough in this mod. Like, I feel like he has way more hit points than he used to, or maybe we just don't do damage like we used to or something, but having the bear, like, the bears pull aggro over you and your mercenary, so it's like kind of a hidden mechanic that you can just keep summoning your bear right next to Bale, and then Bale doesn't attack you. I mean, he might eventually, you know, every once in a while, like, turn around and do his little mana drain breath thing, but for the most part, you know, on Diablo or Bale, having the bear makes those fights so much easier. Hey, that was nice. I should probably go hit up the vendor real fast. Any of you guys giving the new WoW expansion a try? I think the new WoW expansion is out. I haven't played World of Warcraft in years, really. I tried playing it a little bit again when they came out with WoW Classic, but even then I just had such a hard time getting into it. Make sure I have TPs. We're good there. And inner cloister. I love not having to have keys. That is probably my favorite thing about the assassin, is I don't have to worry about keys. Ooh, Saigon's belt. I think that's Kliegaw's shield, or Harsari's shield, maybe. Oh, these little rat men. They're like a prelude to Stygian dolls. You know, they thankfully they don't blow up on you like Stygian dolls do, but they just come out of nowhere and bite at your ankles. Okay. So I got a waypoint to find here. Ooh, spiders. Oh, map. First map scroll drop on the assassin. I've got about 40 scrolls of Viz June, just white ones, sitting on a mule. I think it'd be pretty cool if they implemented something like you could cube 3 of them and turn them into a tier 2. Or cube, 3 tier 2 maps and turn it into a tier 3. But it's because I have... What do you want for that shadow skiller? Because I just happen to be looking for some. Oh, ow. Yeah, we need the waypoint. What do you look? I mean, are you really the only thing I have to offer would be I've got an Istrune. Or I've got a paladin combat skiller with 17 life on it, or an offensive skiller with like gold fight or something. Paladin offensive auras. I don't really have a whole lot in the way of trading, but I give you an Istrune or a paladin combat skiller with life on it if you're interested in either of those. Yeah, the waypoint's got to be over here somewhere. A hurl bat. Yeah, you'd think that they would look, it would just be like a stick when it's called a hurl bat, like a bat that you hurl. Yeah, I know that shadow skills are in pretty high demand at the moment. I think that the Mind Blast Assassin's probably one of the strongest builds in the game right now. I know I'm sure liking her though. I was lucky enough to re-roll a Grand Charm into a Shadow Skiller Grand Charm with perfect gems. So that made me pretty happy, but still need 7 more of them and a Nihilus and Torch and all that, but we'll get there sooner or later. Yeah. Catacombs 4, where are you? Here. I need to take burst of speed off of hotkey. I recast burst of speed out of habit and then forget that I'm using fade because I'm squishy and have no resistances. And I just need to switch fade over to my F1 key and take burst of speed off, I guess. No, go after Myrtle. Oh hey, in essence. Man, I did 32 solo nightmare bail runs earlier today on this chick and did not get one single bail essence. I think out of 200 or more bail runs, I've gotten 2 essences between this chick, my paladin, and my druid. A good day. Yeah, I never really noticed how many similarities there are between Act 2 Diablo 2 and Act 2 Diablo 3. Like, in Diablo 3, you have the little kid emperor that's like Jaren, but then he, you know... Yeah, they dropped, let's see, they changed it to where nightmare bosses can drop essences now. But I've got level 31 on Mind Blast and still have 2 more points to go to fully synergize it, but I'm doing just over 3k damage with it, so it's doing pretty good. In normal vanilla Diablo 2 as well as Path of Diablo, they only drop off of hell bosses, but they patched in to where the nightmare bosses can actually drop essences in Project Diablo 2. So if you're having a hard time farming Hell Bale, you can actually drop down to Nightmare Bale and still farm essences. So... and go kill some Radamant. Mind Blast definitely has a bigger radius than Psychic Hammer does, but Psychic Hammer does more damage than Mind Blast does. I use it primarily for boss killing and like single target stuff. And now that I'm in hell mode, I use it to kill physical immunes. I do too. I think it's really cool that the nightmare bosses can drop essences. I think that was a really good addition. Now, I don't know what tokens are trading for because I really haven't done hardly any trading whatsoever. But I know that, you know, tokens were usually in pretty high demand just because people are always looking to respec and, you know, they don't have the greatest drop rates ever. So, you know, when I was playing Path of Diablo, I bought probably 6 or 8 tokens for Vex runes each just in this most recent season, just because I was too lazy to go farm Bale. Let's see, more healing potions. And, oh. level 3. Here we go. There's some zombies popping out of nowhere at me. Hey, resist poison shrine. That's handy down here. Ooh, and a pretty quick radamant find, too. Okay. I don't think you can, trust me, Lysander. We already had this discussion before. And we'll get rid of a 3% magic find. Okay, good to go. Has anybody tried farming stony tombs? I hear it's pretty good for, especially for fire builds. It's one of the zones that's now level 85. And I went into the Flare, well, it's not the Flare dungeon, it's the one right by the waypoint they changed to level 85. Ooh, ow. And I went in there and got about 5 steps in and got attacked by a whole bunch of Stygian dolls. Like, nah, screw that. We're still not running this place, so. Tricked me. I thought that was the entrance to the next zone, but nope, no such luck. Refilling shrine. Man, after running maps with these slinger guys and the maps, I'm so afraid of them now. The ones in the maps do so much damage. I'm just paranoid of getting hit by them, so. Ooh, small charm, we like those. And my Shadow Master, her skills do surprisingly huge amounts of damage. Like, when she uses Mind Blast on stuff in Nightmare mode, she just one-shots things. I don't know if she has skills that are the same level as she is, so if, she's level 31, I don't know if she has level 31 skills or how that works, but I know that when she does hit things with spells and stuff, they actually seem to do pretty good damage. Hey, alright. We're gonna go find our non-teleportable key boss. The Mage Plate. So the Blood Witch the Wild, which is the super unique that guards the cube. She's one of the new key bosses. So now there's actually a point in running Halls of the Dead in Hell mode. Why am I so slow? I don't know what was going on, why I was moving so slow. That was... Maybe I was frozen still and just didn't look blue. Huh. I don't know if you guys see it or not, but I'm like not blue, but frozen, and that's kind of weird. Yep, there's the blue. While I was doing Nightmare Bail runs, I ended up having 4 different unique rings drop. I got 2 Nagels, a Dwarf Star, and a Carrion Wind, I think. I've got like 3 or 4 Carrion Winds now. Now there's 2 key bosses for each key type. So they still have all the old ones that you can teleport to, but now they have ones that you actually can't teleport in this zone at all. So it's made for melee tunes and non-teleporting characters to be able to farm keys. So you don't have to have a sorceress to farm keys with. So Blood Witch the Wild down here, she's one of them. Bloodraven is one, and then Iswal is one. And then you'll still have all the same key drops from the Countess, Summoner, and Nihilithak. So if you really want to, you can, if you're farming keys, you can actually farm both key bosses. So there's a total of 6 key bosses now. Oh, I didn't even realize the entrance was over there. Yeah, organs are not dropped 100%, but the thing about the key bosses, though, is now key bosses have a 33% chance of dropping keys instead of an 8% chance of dropping keys. So key drops are much more common, but you have to run the organ bosses more to actually get your organ sets. So now you're not guaranteed to be able to get a torch with a 9x3. Almost, so a little over 3,100 on the Mind Blast damage. Ooh, that's a whole bunch of gold. Mind Blast is faster cast rate. And then Mind Blast does physical damage, and Psychic Hammer, also based off of faster cast rate, is magic damage. So that's one of the reasons why the Mind Blast Assassins are so strong, is you have really high AoE damage for both physical and magic. So, I mean, you kill most of the stuff with Mind Blast, but you don't have any problems with physical immunes either. So And then obviously I haven't gotten to where I can map yet with this chick, but there aren't any normal spawns in any of the maps that are physical immune, so I think the Mind Blast Assassin is going to be a really good mapper too. I thought those guardian things were magic immune. Maybe it's the ones later on, like in the Tal Rasha's tombs, that are magic immune. Oh, Myrtle disappeared again. Ding. So you guys should Google search "let's do the fork in the garbage disposal," and that is what I think of every time I level up. Every single time. And if you go Google that, then you will understand why. Oh, that's a bunch of big scary stuff. With the might aura and everything. So she's quite a bit tougher in hell mode now. And War Spike. Watch these. No, never mind. I'm gonna say watch these boots be super awesome, but then ethereal. Alright, so we're now, what, 0 for 2 on key bosses? Or no, 0 for 3, because Bloodraven didn't drop us one either. Alright, and we're officially fully synergized on Mind Blast, so just over 3,200 damage with plus 11 to skills. That's pretty good. And then we need 2 more levels and we'll get this bad boy. And replace, I've just got the plus 1 on my lidless wall, so I'll gain another plus 3 to all skills there. Pretty excited about that. Okay. Now we're off to find the maggot lair. Alright. Something unique over here with might aura and fanaticism. Okay. It's my goal to kill the birds before they start flying away. I hate having to wait for them to land. I usually just skip them, but my OCD makes me want to sit there and wait till they land so I can kill them. Sorry, I had to alt-tab there for just a second. And another healing potion. Black raptor nest. I'm also excited to get to level 80 or whatever it is that my loot filter stops showing me piles of gold under 5,000. I feel like I have to pick up all the piles of gold. I would imagine the Wind Druid can kill Ubers. I don't know about Declone. Declone... I haven't even tried Declone yet, but from what I've seen on that fight, it just looks all around rough. I mean, you know, the people that have attempted Diablo Clone without, you know, cheesing it with minions and stuff, you know, I don't know really what a good declone build is that doesn't involve minion cheese. But I do think that a well enough geared Wind Druid would be able to do Ubers. Especially since they kind of got rid of the whole life tap thing being a thing. You know, if you get a mercenary that's got open wounds and then procs amplify damage, I think your tornadoes would do enough damage to actually be able to take down Ubers. But, you know, Declone, it just seems like a whole different ballgame. You know, there's a really in-depth guide on the Diablo clone fight on the PD2 wiki. And the guy that wrote the guide said that he was able to do it with a frenzy barb. And I can't imagine it was easy by any stretch. But, you know, that's the only kill that I've even heard about solo that hasn't involved minions. You know, and I'm not sure if people have been farming Diablo clone in groups or not. Oh, ow. Oh man, that was close there. Fade fell off. I really need to find something that can't be frozen on it. Oh, Charge Strike. Amazon does declone fairly good. That's good to know. Yeah, Ubers is a fun fight. I mean, really, the important thing on Ubers is you need to have 300 lightning resistance. So that way you stay at max lightning resistance against Mephisto's Conviction Aura. And, you know, past that, I mean, that's the biggest thing about Ubers is being able to kill Mephisto. Other than that, you need open wounds in some fashion, which you can get from a mercenary. And mercenaries are so much tankier in PD2 because they can wear belts, boots, and gloves that your mercenary can actually survive Ubers. Whereas in, like, Path of Diablo, your mercenary just falls over and dies usually. And there's not much you can do about it because you can only put 3 pieces of equipment on them. But having the extra gear, I mean, they're just super tanky. And so you can get open wounds on them by putting, like, you know, Gore Rider boots on them. You don't have to have an rune socketed into a weapon or, you know, some weapon with open wounds or anything like that. You can get it from your boots. Or, you know, Dracula's Grasp now, even though they don't have life tap anymore, I believe they still have open wounds on them. So it's really easy to get open wounds on your mercenary. And that pretty much counteracts the healing that they do. So, you know, it makes it to where you actually can do damage to them. If you don't have open wounds, then it'll be a really long fight. And having physical resistance is also good. Like, physical damage reduction by a percentage is really good. I don't know if you can make a mercenary that'll just survive declone. I mean, maybe. But, I mean, like I said earlier, I haven't actually attempted the Diablo clone in PD2 yet. But he just seems like he's ridiculously mean. But you can for sure make mercenaries now that can survive against, at least not get one shot by Ubers. And, I mean, you might have to use some full juvies or healing potions on them or something, but for the most part, you can make mercenaries that actually survive Ubers now, but again, I'm not sure on the Diablo clone how well their survivability would be there. Yeah, that's good. Gore Riders are really good mercenary boots with the open wounds, deadly strike, crushing blow. You know, because every time you proc deadly strike, that increases the amount that they heal with leeching too, because it increases your physical damage. So that's always a good thing. Yeah. Well, I guess I'm dumb. It is the Shadow Warrior that I'm supposed to max out. We're gonna have to go fix that right now. Wow, I feel dumb. But... Alright, well, Mind Blast is about to get so much better, guys. Okay, so let's try this again. Mind Blast. Okay, so yep, it for sure is Shadow Warrior. Heh. I don't know why I put a point in Shadow Master again, because I don't even need it. So Shadow Warrior, Psychic Hammer, and Cloak of Shadows. Yeah. Cloak of Shadows, okay. Thanks for pointing that out, Ano. I appreciate that. Okay. We need... What do we need for... I don't like relying on my charms for strength and dexterity and stuff. So I've got dexterity somewhere. I mean, if it was like a skill or charm with... If we had a skill or charm with strength or dexterity, then I would leave that charm on. But like just a, medium resistance small charm with 1 to strength on it, I would be so mad if I replaced that charm and was short 2 dexterity or 2 strength. So... Alright, so we should be good there. Alright, so we went from 3,200 Mind Blast damage up to 4,500 damage, so we just got a whole lot better, guys. And again, I feel really dumb, so... So now we got to come up with a new name. Now that we're using a Shadow Warrior instead of Shadow Master, we did have Myrtle. So we got to think of a new name for the Shadow Warrior. I'm not really all I need her for is to tank, though. I don't really care about the damage that she does, because I do just enough, I do enough damage with... Yeah. Alright, so yeah, I'm doing 1.5 times more damage than I was, so that's pretty awesome. And Blade's a good name, but it's got to be something like, I don't know, something kind of like dorky sounding, like Beth or Bridget or Olga. Olga would be a good name, I think. Oh man, look at that right there, boys. Got some Sandstorm tracks. with the repairs durability. Not bad, not bad. Yeah, you know, it might have to be Karen. You know, she kind of seems like a Karen. Yeah, I think we'll go with Karen. Karen it is. Especially if she despawns like Myrtle did. And I'm pretty stoked about those Eth Treks. I mean, they're good boots as it is, but you know, having the ethereal ones with the repair durability is just awesome. Oh, I can't open this door. There we go. Uh-oh. My phone just fell over. Yeah, I still haven't dropped a pair of Alders yet this season, or in PD2 either. Alders are really good boots, but yeah, I'm pretty excited about those Eth Treks. I'd really like to find some good, faster cast rate rings as well. I found some halfway okay ones, but you know, one with like 10 or more strength and 15 fire resistance or something like that would be pretty awesome. Yeah, in my experience with faster cast rate rings and the word good just have not gone together yet in PD2 for me. Yeah, I wouldn't mind a good dual leech ring too. Those are always fun. See. Okay, Claw Viper Temple, here we go. I guess we should go talk to Farah and heal Wahid. I didn't realize that he's got 0 life. Oh. Okay, Karen. Time to show me how you roll. Like, honestly, at this point, I would be so happy if I could get a faster cast rate Ravenfrost. Now, I know that Ravenfrost is more of a, you know, melee build type thing or max block type thing, but just the can't be frozen. And really, since I have to put points in dexterity for claws and stuff, it's a faster cast rate Ravenfrost would be awesome. But I haven't gotten a single Ravenfrost to drop yet here either. Oh man. It's too bad that Wardaddy had to leave. I would have given him that Baritza. He's saying that he's using Langer Brisser, Abrailist or whatever it's called. I'll hold on to it for him, I guess. I'd really like to, like, they've increased the enhanced damage roll on the Baritza. I mean, now it can go up to 300% enhanced damage. That's such a huge window, though. 150 to 300 is a huge window. But I would imagine that a upgraded 300% enhanced damage Baritza would do quite a bit of damage. I really haven't had much luck with slamming hardly anything other than I have a +2 lidless wall with 6 mana per kill on it, and it was ethereal, and I slammed it, and it was before they fixed the ethereal bug, so it's got like 1900 armor on it, and I actually got indestructible mod on it, so that was pretty awesome. I think I must have just wasted my entire RNG for the entire season on that, but you know, I guess it would depend on my charm setup, Anno. Like, if I had, you know, a full inventory full of charms and didn't need that +1 to skills, I would probably go with Chains of Honor for the resistances and then go back to using Burst of Speed for move speed. You know, because at that point, you know, I wouldn't really require Fade. The added physical damage reduction % would be nice, but if I have max resistances, I would probably go with Chains of Honor over the Natalia's armor if I didn't really need the extra, you know, +1 damage, because, you know, I'm doing enough damage right now as it is to where, I mean, things are dying pretty quick, and that's with 1 Shadow Skiller, and, you know, I don't even have my Shadow Killer Cestus on or nothing, so, you know, I think that I would be willing to give up that +1 to Shadow skills to use a Chains of Honor. And, you know, Chains of Honor is just all around a good armor. It's got tons of resistances. You know, it has much less damage reduction than it did before. You know, it used to have 8%, now it's only got 4. But, you know, +2 to skills and tons of resistances and a little bit of magic find, a little bit of damage reduction. It's good on anything. You know, I'm really happy with the +3 nats. And even if I was, you know, wearing a +2 nats, I'd be happy with that. But I think ultimately, if I had access to all the gear in the game, I would probably go with Chains of Honor. But I will definitely invest resources into getting more Shadow Skiller charms before I invest in a Chains of Honor for sure. Yeah, tankreds. And Karen, Karen and doorways don't mix, guys. She's just having a hell of a time. Oh. Yeah, I am from Missouri. Oh, the fire tower has so much life and so much resistances. That's not going to stop Karen. She's going for it. Yeah, I've been here in Missouri for a little over 3 years now. I moved here in, I think, May of 2017. I don't know where you're at in the state, but I live on the Lake of the Ozarks. So kind of in the middle of nowhere in central Missouri. Ow. Yeah, that's one thing that I've noticed with Missouri is they have, like, you know, I'm originally from Wyoming, which has tiny little towns, but they're like hours apart from each other, you know, hundreds of miles in between towns. And then but I primarily grew up in Phoenix and then lived in Vegas for a while. And you know, here, the one thing that threw me off about Missouri is it's just like tiny little towns like every 6 miles. And for a while, I was working for a grocery store. I was in their corporate office. I oversaw all of the meat departments for the grocery store chain. So I just drive around central Missouri, and there's just tiny towns everywhere. I'm like two and a half hours from Kansas City going one way, and then another 2.5 hours away from St. Louis going the other way. And you know, it's just tiny little towns the entire way to either one of them. But I'll be right back, guys. I gotta get some more iced tea, so give me just 1 minute. Alright. Much better. But the area that I live in is all vacation area. I'm on the lake, and so in the summer times there's tons and tons of people here. But this time of year there's like nobody. So I live in a condo complex. There's 300 something units here. Did I not get... Oh, so I need to go to Arcane Sanctuary, huh? But there's 300 something units here, and as far as full-time year-round residents, there's only like 8 people that actually live here. So I have no neighbors. I mean, none at all. The closest person to me is like 3 buildings down, and so it's just kind of solitary and quiet, and I really like it. But then, in the summertime, I have neighbors every single weekend, just people packed all around me. Can't find my, own parking spot, and it's pretty annoying, to be honest with you. And everybody's just here to get drunk and party, so that kind of sucks too, because, I mean, it's every once in a while I'll go hang out and, like, see whoever's here hanging out, like in the pool or in the docks or whatever, out on the patios, and I have hung out with people and drank and stuff in the past, but I'm really not into that whole... I've come to realize I just don't really like people in general, so I kind of just stick to myself now, and but I really enjoy it this time of year, and when I'm just got kind of my own little corner on the lake and nobody to bother me, and it's really nice. But when I was working at that grocery store chain, I started off at store level as a butcher, and I was working at this place called Sunrise Beach. It's about a half hour away from here. It's 22 miles from where I live. So I was driving out there, and when you cross over the bridge going into town there, it has a population sign that says their population is 424 people. But in the holiday weekends on the, like in the summertime, that town goes up to like 100,000. I mean, that store in the summertime did more business than any of our other stores. Actually, it did almost as much business as all the rest of our stores combined. And, I mean, it was just insane how that town just blew up with people in the summertime. But then in the wintertime, there's less than 500. I think that I just haven't liked people in general for my entire life, but now that I'm getting older, I'm realizing it, so... I don't know if that's because I spent a long time working customer service type jobs, but, people in general are kind of jerks. They're... I don't know. I just like staying to myself for the most part. See, AGN, I think that's Armageddon. I tried out the Armageddon build and really didn't much care for it. I was pretty under-geared, but it felt very underwhelming compared to the Wind Druid. And why am I so lost? Yeah, Charles, that's like when I was growing up, that's how I was. I had a close-knit group of friends that I hung out with quite a bit, but you know, other than that, and you know, we did actually all those same things, played Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that. I'm still to this day, my friends are, we've been trying to figure out how to set up a online D&D campaign and play together over Discord and stuff. But you know, now that we're not teenagers anymore, we all have different jobs, different schedules. We live all across the country, and so it's been really hard to try and actually set up a D&D campaign, but I really hope we get it figured out sooner or later. I'd probably actually stream it. I think it'd be really fun to stream an online D&D campaign. I've actually always been more of a fan of the D10 systems as opposed to D20 systems, but stupid Spectre mana drain. Yeah, I can't remember the name of the website either. I think that's the one that you're talking about is the one that we've used it in the past, and you know, it actually worked out pretty good. Like it was basically a dice roller and then like kind of a little chat forum. But it's been quite a few years since we've even tried doing any of that, and then you know, now we would do it with like voice chat and stuff like that. But you know, I know it's actually quite possible to have online campaigns now. We just gotta, you know, the biggest struggle is, holy crap, guys! I found Summoner the first time. That, no way. Now he's probably gonna kill me. Ooh, and a key of hate. Huh. Alright, well, it's on video. I actually found found the summoner in the first way on Arcane Sanctuary. Well. Well, that's not a bad charm. I think I got something I can... Yeah, I think we're gonna go with Fade. Okay, Square. Let's see, Square. That. Up into the... Wow, this guy needs to chill his roll there. I think Square's up here. Hey, alright. Yeah, you know, so I've got there, two of my buddies are, the ones that are really interested in setting up a campaign. One of them works in the oil field, so he's pretty much just gone for like a month at a time or longer, like depending. I mean, I've seen him be on hitch for like 4 months straight, where he's just gone for 4 months. And then the other guy works more business hours. And, when I was working in the grocery industry, I was working 70-hour weeks. And at that time, I was married and, just had a brand new kid and had no time for anything whatsoever. But, now I'm actually working from home and divorced and, have a pretty flexible schedule. So, I'm the one with the most flexible schedule out of the three of us. I think that the Enigma nerf is pretty awful. I'm okay with the nerf to the teleport being blink, but I think they should have left the rest of it the same. I'm really disappointed with the nerf to bear runes only adding 4% damage reduction. So the damage reduction nerf on it I think is dumb. The magic find nerf on it I think is pretty dumb. The run speed was my favorite thing about the armor, and so I think that they really over nerfed Enigma way too much. I feel like they were pretty heavy-handed with the nerf bat in PD2, and but the biggest thing that disappoints me is the magic find nerf as well as the move speed nerf. If they would have left those the same, I'd be pretty okay with it. But they just kind of chopped everything in half. And yeah, I think Chains of Honor is definitely a better armor than Enigma is now. And the best thing about Enigma was pretty much that you could get away with having very little strength and mobility. The biggest thing, or the reason why people used Enigma, was just for the mobility purposes. So, there's just not really any point in using it. There's so much better things that you can do with a bear rune and a jaw rune. There's so many good rune words that take jaw that it's ridiculous, but I can't imagine that Enigma will see very much use at all. I honestly don't think it's worth the runes that it takes to make it. And I think that they scaled back stuff a little too much. Like, I can understand the damage output being scaled back. I'm okay with that. But I don't really see the point in why they scaled back all of the survivability stats too. You have, even on like the lower level stuff like Smoke and Heart of the Oak and Oculus, and a lot of the I feel like they should have left the survivability stats alone, and I'm okay with the damage nerf, but I mean, overall, it makes the entire game much more challenging. It's, things in hell hit harder. I mean, I don't think they actually, like, the mobs themselves actually hit harder, but because you have less survivability stats and smaller hit point pools and all of that, it feels like everything hits harder. And so it's kind of got a whole lot more challenge to the game, which is good. But I wish that it was, I just wish that they would have left the survivability stats alone. So, and I agree that it does. I mean, there's a lot of stuff now that is viable that never really would have been considered before. I would have liked to have seen them buff underused stuff and leave the good stuff alone, or have slightly less nerfs. But we're just a few weeks into season 1, and they might, over the course of time, I would imagine that they will probably kind of smooth things out and find more of a happy medium. Like right now, it feels like everything is just kind of over buffed, or over nerfed rather. And I feel like as time goes on, the community will let them know that they need to kind of smooth things out, because pretty much any build that you do feels awesome all the way through nightmare mode, and then you get into hell mode and you're like, what the hell, this sucks, I can't do anything. And I think a lot of people are going to get frustrated with that, and they'll have to smooth out that scaling from going from nightmare to hell mode and then into maps and stuff. And this Mind Blast Assassin is a very good example of how they can actually smooth out the scaling, because you can get your Mind Blast up to like 12,000 damage, and if I am fully statted or fully synergized and only have +5 to skills, I'm doing 2,500 damage. So going from +5 to skills to +25 to skills, having level 45 stuff, quadrupling your damage, I think is a little bit ridiculous. I would like to see it a little bit more normalized at the lower levels, because it feels like every single build on a budget level just feels super weak. Need some healing potions. And I found myself wondering if, when they were trying to balance the game, if they just had all endgame gear on everything. Because, if you're a developer, you can put whatever gear you want. So if they were balancing the game for endgame gear, I would imagine the game is pretty balanced once you do have all your endgame gear. But, they probably didn't really consider what it's like, running hell mode with +3 to skills on a sorceress. You just do no damage. And yeah, I mean, from what I've seen so far, like, plus skills is where it's at in this mod. So, I mean, like I said just now with taking that stuff off, I do 4,500 damage with Mind Blast with level 31 skills. So if I go down to 25 skills, so I'm only losing 6 to all skills right there, I do 2,400 damage. So I literally double my damage with those plus 6 to skills right there. And the more plus the skills that you have, the more it scales. So it's like all of this spell damage stuff just scales. Like once you get into your 30s, like it scales a lot, and you end up doing a lot of damage end game. But I think they need to smooth out that transition from plus no skills to, plus 12 to or so, to where it's not so harsh trying to gear up. Okay, we're gonna go see if we can kill Duriel here. Get him, Karen. All right. Yeah, and yeah, the amount of damage that you get with each of your skiller charms and all that is just huge. It was the same way on my Wind Druid. When I was using a Suicide Branch and Lore and, just only had a few plus the skills, I just did no damage to anything in Hell mode. But now that I'm, at 35 plus, or, level 35 skills and stuff, it feels really good. So I feel like when they were trying to balance the game, they balanced it with endgame, all the endgame gear on, and I think they'll have to go back and kind of smooth out the ramp up time to how well your damage scales. So and the maps are, to answer or to respond to you, Charles, but maps are really hard. I mean, at first, I was like, oh, hey, there's hardly any immunities in here. That's awesome. But then I got hit by some random flare dart and was poisoned for 2.5 minutes. And the poison damage did more damage than I could heal with a healing potion. And I mean, since then it's been nerfed, but I mean, things hit so hard in maps. And they have quite a bit of life, too. I mean, they've nerfed the life and all that, too, but, maps are pretty tough. And, if you're just starting out in mapping, by all means, just do white maps. The white maps are not that bad, but when you start getting the yellow maps, they start getting pretty rough. I mean, I had a yellow map where one of the mods was increase monster hit points by 56%, and then another mod on it was monsters take reduced physical damage by almost 600. So I'm sitting there looking at my tornado that at that point in time did 3,000 damage, and I'm like, well, shit, that's like a fifth of my damage that they are reducing, and things have 56% more life, which is already a lot. So I was like, that map's getting rerolled real quick. But there's some pretty rough mods out there, but even just running white maps is not bad. know, really the only mods that I try and avoid are the ones where map contains succubi and Stygian dolls. You can get it to where, you know, you can roll map contains Stygian dolls, and that's just an automatic no for me. And I avoid the succubi ones, except for on tier 3 maps, because they already have succubi in them now. So if the map mod is, you know, map contains succubi, then it's like a moot point because the map already has them. So yeah, I'm glad the videos helped you out. The one I did on the Ruins of Vizjun, the tier 1 map, that has been one of my top viewed videos. It's my #1 viewed video for Path of Diablo, or PD2 for sure. And I only have one video from Path of Diablo that's had more views than that one. And then for whatever reason, the tier 2 and tier 3 videos people didn't really care about. But so I've gotten to the point, Chuba, where I only run yellow maps now. But like, I tried running a white map on my throw barb, and it wasn't bad at all. I mean, he's got okay gear. He's not using anything spectacular. You know, I've got Lionheart on him, and a G-Face, and I'm using two of the unique throwing weapons, not any of the good ones. I don't have Lacerator, and I don't have Warshrike. But, you know, he does quite a bit of damage. But, you know, he was doing pretty good on the white maps, and now that they buffed the density on the tier 1 map, it's actually not bad, even without any mods on it. But if you can get like a blue map with, you know, plus density on it, but not any ridiculous mods, you know, that's also a really good thing to go for if you're just starting out. Hey, thanks for hanging out, Jacob. Good luck on your magic find runs. Hope you find some good stuff. Yeah, there's some pretty ridiculous mods, and the other ones that make me laugh is, like, I had one where monsters do an additional 138% cold damage, and then like an additional 70-something% fire damage. So they were doing like triple damage, and it was just not nice. You know, it just, some of them become ridiculously hard, but at least it's easy to re-roll them, I guess. You know, if they have a bunch of stupid mods like that, I just re-roll them. I mean, really all you need is a jewel. I try and keep just crap jewels for re-rolling maps, and, you know, any rune, Thule rune or higher, you can use to re-roll your maps with, and then other than that, it's just gold, but gold is easy to find. So and if you guys didn't know, it is possible to slam your maps, and you can get beneficial mods. Like, I had one map that had the player gets 40% increased attack speed, cast rate, and move speed. So that was pretty cool. And, you know, that was nice, but I honestly wouldn't recommend using your world stone shards to slam maps, I feel like they're much better spent slamming gear than they are maps. I don't think that there's a, like, cow level type map. Oh, an F Templar's Might? Either save it for a different character, or since you... With that, you can actually switch to a... like an Act 2 defensive mercenary, and then you can have Defiance and Might. Or... I mean, other than that, you can... It's probably got pretty good trade value, because that's really a good thing to put on non-Act 5 mercenaries for anything that's a physical build. Like, I would... If I had a Templar's Might, I would probably... That's what I would want to use on, like, a Summon Druid or a Skeleton Necromancer. And I would use it on an Act 1 mercenary. So that way they have Vigor, so they get to things faster. And then they would still have Might Aura. And even better if you also can afford to put a Faith on there too. So then they'd have Might, Vigor, and Fanaticism. But that's a pretty expensive Act 1 mercenary though. Or like I said, you could do an Act 2 mercenary with Defiance Aura, and then you could use a Pride weapon on your mercenary, so then you would have Concentration and Might and Defiance. So that'd make your summons do a lot more damage and be tankier. Oh, souls. Fade. But another really good mercenary build, I think, for any sort of physical thing or summoner build would be an Act 5 mercenary, since they can use axes and maces now. Would be to make Beast in a ethereal glorious axe, and then that way you would have a pretty high level might as well as fanaticism. So the Tyrael's Might, it gives between 4 to 8. Yeah, you can sack 2 offensive, or like it gives +4 to +8 to Might. So you get more damage from an Act 5 mercenary because they have a base level 18 Might aura. Well, when they're high enough level, it caps out at level 18. And then the aura that the mercenary has itself also benefits from plus to all skills. It doesn't work from plus to class skills, but like if you have a Might mercenary and you put a Andariel's Visage helmet on him that adds +2 to all skills, their Might will actually go up to level 20. So you'll have a higher level Might by using an Act 5 mercenary, but using a Tyrael's Might for a lower level Might aura gives you the opportunity of having other utility through the the other things that they have. So like Defiance or Vigor or whatever. But yeah, as far as I'm aware, you can have both Might and Fanaticism on a mercenary at the same time. You just have to have the gear for it. So level 7, that's still a really good roll, especially since it's ethereal. I'm sure it has quite a bit of defense on it. Damn. And I don't think I have any... Yeah, souls are the bane of my existence. And I don't think I even got a waypoint yet, so... We're just gonna go ahead and rejoin this game. Let's see, we're in 1-1. It's used to summon Diablo clone. It's one of the things that you have to summon the Diablo clone. Hey, trap skiller. That's cool. Yeah, I've got a couple of them myself, and I'm just going to hold on to them until I actually get to a point where I can attempt to run Diablo clone. I would imagine it's going to be a bit of a learning curve, so I'm fully prepared to fail the first time or two that I give it a try, so... Well, the thing, I don't know if you can make town portals in the declone fight, but as soon as you transmute the things together, it puts you into the zone. There's no waypoint, and if you die, you can't go back. But I think you can actually... You might be able to use a TP in case you die, but I haven't been able to confirm that yet. I would imagine the declone would be much more doable in a party situation. And, you know, they're having necromancers for their curses and stuff. He's got super reduced curse duration, but you know, having different auras and different curses and stuff from a party, I think, will really help out the Diablo clone fight. And it would definitely be a lot easier to run it as a party as opposed to solo. Okay. You can also make a full IK Act 5 merc, since they could use barb helms and they can use maces, so you can put full Immortal Kings on a barbarian, Act 5 mercenary. Oh yeah, IK Bill. So... Yeah. Yeah. Funny how that works. My druid's mercenary was better geared than my druid was for a long time. I unfortunately was really dumb and had my mercenary and hired a new mercenary without taking the stuff off of him, so I lost my Vampire's Gaze and my Gladiator's Bane that I had on him. And fortunately, I found another Gladiator's Bane. But I'm still missing the gaze. Now he's wearing a Tal Rasha's mask. Yeah, that was the first time I've ever done that before. I was pretty upset with myself over that one, but... And you know what I was doing? I was trying to get a bill. I actually had switched to an Act 5 mercenary, and there was no bill, and then I went to go resurrect the one that I had, and saw that they had a bill, and I was like, oh, I gotta get Bill, and hired him without taking all the stuff off of the one that I had in the first place, so... Yeah. Gotta love those kinds of... Yep, the Bill envy got to me. Now we gotta go back to stupid Great Marsh and deal with those souls again. God, I hate souls. Need more resistances. I've got some plus all resistances jewels on a mule. I might have to take those topazes out of my Natalias and put all res jewels in them. Alright, Karen, do something useful. Go kill those, or tank those things at least. I like how the slime princes don't instantaneously blow up on you anymore. They don't blow up until you kill them. That's pretty cool. Ew. That's a good idea, thank you. Oh, IK helmet. Oh, scary. Come on, Flare Jungle. I'm tired of the Great Marsh. I need Flare Jungle to pop up sooner. No. Yeah, there's a lot of poison damage on that map. I mean, they thankfully nerfed the poison damage a little bit, but it's still really rough. And the tier 2 and tier 3 map scrolls hardly ever drop outside of maps. Like, I've got quite a few map scrolls for tier 2 and tier 3, but I got almost every single one of them while running maps. So I ran quite a few of the Viz June maps before I, really got into the tier 2 and tier 3. But ooh, oh no. Trying to play dodge the lightning bolt. Alright, so I got a waypoint. That's cool. I should probably go buy some health potions. Did I not get the... Huh. Guess I forgot to pick up the spider eye thing. We're just having a hell of a time, guys. Alright. Did I even go into the spider cavern thing? Oh yeah, I guess I did. It's all the way up there. It's been a long day. I had my kid this morning and he was up at about 4:30 in the morning, so there we go. So I think I just need some sleep, to be honest with you. Maybe I'm just not paying attention. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Wish there was a second exit to this place to not have to run all the way around. Have any of you guys tried much mapping on a summoner? Like, I tried mapping on a summoner druid before I went wind spec, and especially in the I would imagine the summon necro would have the same issue with the poison damage. I mean, even my my bears and stuff that are actually pretty tanky otherwise, I mean, that poison was just chewing through them. And the spirit wolves were, that was before they fixed their hit points, so they just kind of fall over and die, if something just looked at them funny. Yeah, my mercenary wasn't having too rough of a time as long as he was attacking stuff, like, so he could keep himself healed. But my summons just died so fast. The you know, and then I tried the leader of the pack build, and actually, my wolves were had much more survivability than I did. I don't think I had the right gear set up for the leader of the pack build. I mean, I had some okay gear, like I was using a steel peeler, war pike, and you know, had a fair amount of leech and stuff, but I mean, just overall, I felt very squishy. And the best part of the build was both well, the dire wolves for sure, and then the spirit wolves, but I mean, the wolves just died so fast and to poison damage in the maps that it just made me not like that build at all. But I think if I had better optimized gear, it would be okay. But having played that and a full summon druid, I think that a full summon druid would be the better option. I'd rather go full summon druid and then use beast to turn into a bear and run around and hit stuff with, but you know, I think that full summon druid is a superior build to the leader of the pack wolf build. Hey Murthy, how are you? I'm glad that you finally actually got on my stream. Are you taking a break from playing World of Warcraft? You know, I don't know if it would be better off to focus more so on the werewolf and physical side, like, you know, stack, you know, use things like Lionheart and stuff like that, and try and have most of my damage come from my druid as opposed to the wolves, and then just use the wolves to be more like tanky. You know, that might end up being better, but I was kind of stacking more plus the skills to where my wolves were doing the damage, and I was just there to really just be there. I mean, ultimately, my goal was to use Atma's Scarab so I could proc amplify damage. But, you know, I think that if I were to go more of a feral wolf focus on my gear, and then just have my summons there to kind of negate some of the damage, I think that would have been a lot better of a route. Yeah, I think that would probably be a better option than what I did. And I also, the other thing that I did is I maxed out Werewolf because it was a synergy for the wolves. And I only had 1 point in Feral Rage, and I didn't use Fury at all. I think going more of a, you know, maxing out, I think if I were to do that build again, I would go max out Fury and then Wolf, and then probably still only get 1 point in Feral Rage for the life steal and move speed buff, but primarily focus on using Fury, and then having the wolves to just kind of help soak up damage and all that fun stuff. So Is there not? Huh. Thought that would have been the area with the Flare dungeon in it, but... So, Berthie, it's either getting really late for me or it's really early for you. I'm glad that wasn't a fire shrine. I just kind of clicked on that without paying any attention to it. Okay, we're going to try and go see if we can find... I definitely don't have time to go to Flare Dungeon, so I'm going to go see if I can find the waypoint for Lower Kurast. And apparently I'm just going to stay frozen for forever. Where's that big tree guy at? Oh, that's lots of guys. Okay, did I find a dead end over here, it looks like? Oh, nope. I think they're good. I mean, having enhanced damage on a ring is nice. I don't know if the BK set itself is any good, but, you know, maybe having the one-handed sword and the ring on like a Zeal Paladin or something would be pretty solid. But even just using the ring by itself on any physical damage build, like it would be really good on a Boazon just to have that ring. I haven't gotten the ring to drop yet myself. I had a buddy that, I guess it was bugged the first few days, and you could get it in Act 1 normal, and I had a buddy that had that ring. You can't use it till like 68 or something like that, but he had the ring at, like, before he even made it to Act 2, start on his season starter. Yeah, those are good too. They added a lot of stuff that with enhanced damage on it that's really good. You know, the enhanced damage amulet was that Sarakin's Chance, I think. Like, that's actually a really good amulet for whirlwind barbs, throw barbs, Boazons, Zealadins. Yeah, that's really a pretty solid amulet. You know, because really as important as the plus the skills is for casters, that's how important the enhanced damage stuff is for the melee builds. You know, that's where they scale all of their damage from. They don't need plus the skills hardly at all. Like on my throw barb, I have a mastery skiller, which you gain weapon damage from the weapon mastery itself. I gain hardly any damage from that, but having a +8 to max damage Grand Charm actually increases my throw damage by like almost 150. So it's, you know, the enhanced damage stuff is really good on any of the physical based builds. Yep, 2 nights in a row, we're trying. So my goal is to be able to is to stream Sunday night through Wednesday nights, as I don't have my kid, and then I'm going to try to also stream after my kid goes to sleep for at least a little while on the nights that I do have him. So I really like the throw barb. I thought the throw barb was a lot of fun. I haven't tried out whirlwind on him yet. I actually ended up giving away I had 2 halfway decent whirlwind weapons. I had a cranium basher and a steel pillar, and I ended up giving them away. So I don't have any good whirlwind weapons anymore, but from what I understand, whirlwind's pretty good. But I've really been having a lot of fun on the throw barb. So Jade Talon's cool for the resistances and all that, but I don't like the martial arts tree at all. Like the martial arts tree, they didn't really do anything to it, and it's just not a good tree. If they hopefully will, overhaul the martial arts tree in the future. But I think in the current implementation of the game, it's just not a very good spec to go. But Bartux isn't bad because it gives you +2 to skills for if you're using either traps or Mind Blast. It's, a good mid-game weapon, until you get your actual end-game weapons like Shadow Killer or, for a trap assassin, I'd imagine you go with Hoto or something like that. But hey, thanks for following me, man. I added you to friends list, by the way. Okay, I guess we're not going to find this waypoint before we get kicked out, so... Yeah, you can add me to friends list, that's fine. Yep, absolutely. You guys are feeling more than welcome to add me. And I don't know if there's a limit on how many people you can add to your friends list or not, but I'll add you guys back until I hit the limit. It's just Zanny Cakes, Zannycakes. And just to give you guys a fair warning, I type with /FM a lot, so you'll probably see messages from me quite often that are to other people, so. I got both of you guys too. Yeah, I added you last night, Alex. So you should be good to go. I didn't know that you couldn't stream on, or can't watch streams on unless you're on Wi-Fi. That is kind of odd. Why does Twitch care if you're using your own cellular data? Okay. Oops. That diminishing return on all resistances from Fate is kind of disheartening. Yep. Okay, we need Flare Jungle. On Sundays through Wednesday nights, I try to start streaming around 8 o'clock p.m. my time. You know, I'm still relatively new to this whole streaming thing, but I try for around 8 o'clock. It might get earlier the more I go. But those days I don't have my kid, so I can start earlier. On the days that I have my kid, it's, you know, it really just is going to depend on whatever time he manages to fall asleep. So, but I'm going to try for 8 o'clock streams on Sunday through Wednesday nights, which is 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. If that helps at all. I'm not very familiar with other people's time zones. Oh. So many guys over here. Have you guys ever tried farming Flare Jungle, like just regularly? It's got really good density. There's a lot of stuff in here. I think it'd be really good on like a frozen orb stork. I don't think there's a whole lot of cold immunes here. Oh. I lied, there's cold immunes right there. I thought they were all lightning and fire, but... Maybe a Teeth Necro. Teeth Necro would be good. I haven't seen any magic immunes. Okay. Yeah, I've never actually tried watching streams on my phone. Like I'm completely new to streaming. Like I haven't even really watched many streams before, so I'm new to actually doing a stream as well as watching streams and all that. So I'm just now learning all the streamer lingo, like POG and all that, which, to be honest with you, I think that the streamer lingo is pretty dumb. The POG and KEKW I just think is ridiculous. But that's just me. That's probably because I'm old and an old fuddy-dud. So the POG is like supposed to be like awesome or, you know, something good. And I guess I read a whole thing about it, and I guess a streamer back in the day was doing something with a collaboration with another streamer, and they played the old school game POGs, like if you remember those, where you had like the paper discs and like either a plastic or a metal disc thing that you would, throw at the paper ones or cardboard ones and try and flip them over. And it was a game called Pogs. It was a thing back in the 90s. And so they were playing Pogs on stream, and I guess one of the streamers ended up throwing a joystick at the game and ended up flipping over the Pogs or something, and so they started calling him the Pog Champ, and it over time just ended up turning into meaning awesome. And then the Kek W, I was very familiar with just Kek, K-E-K, as being the Korean laughing thing. Like, I used to play a lot of StarCraft, and it's heavily Korean dominated. And so I was very familiar with Kek, and then Kek W came around on Twitch. I guess there was some, like, anti-Semitic or white power group or something called KEK, and so people started adding the W to it, and somehow it's now associated with the laughing Mexican guy. And that also is also true, Chuba. Granted, I was very familiar with the Korean, like it was basically the Korean version of LOL, playing StarCraft, and that was before World of Warcraft ever even came out. But that being said, when an orc says LOL, it does actually come out as Kek if you're on an Alliance character, or at least it used to. I don't know if it still does or not, but I played, so when that was back when I was in high school, and I played both StarCraft Brood Wars and Warcraft 3 melee maps quite competitively. I ended up going to the World Cyber Games Nationals for StarCraft when I was a junior in high school. Got to go to California and play in the tournament there and all that. I never made it very far with Warcraft 3, but I played with a lot of the people that did. Like, if you're familiar with Gentho, I played a lot with him. And I knew him as, he went by D's in StarCraft. And then Artosis, I played a lot of StarCraft and a little bit of Warcraft 3 with Artosis. Oh, hey, Otma's Whale, all right. But I haven't been in that scene for a long, long time. I'm excited about that Otma's Whale. I haven't dropped one of those yet. Winter Mall Wars and Footman's Frenzy. Yeah, those were pretty fun. I did play some competitive Dota for a while. I enjoyed playing Dota as well. That was about the only custom map that I really played much of, but let's see. Okay. Yeah, I agree with you on that. You know, the League of Legends, I wholeheartedly believe kind of took their entire idea from Dota, and then, you know, they made Dota 2, like the actual non-Warcraft 3 version of it, and by that time League of Legends was pretty much the bee's knees for the MOBA games, but I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I didn't really keep up with much of that stuff. So, as far as like the creators and devs and stuff for it, but so I couldn't tell you one way or the other on that, but Ogre Maul's not the you want a Thunder Maul. Ogre Maul actually has a much less damage than the Thunder Maul does. And I'm not sure as far as what rune words you would make in a 5-socket one either. Like Beast, you can't make it in maces. That one's axes, I believe. But I can't remember the name of there's one rune word that they redid that is now indestructible and has a chance to reanimate as wraiths or something like that. If that is able to, I think that's a 5-socket rune word too. Oh, damn. Need to pay attention. If you can make that in a mace, that would be pretty good, but still you'd want a Thunder Maul over the Ogre Maul. Wow, that poison is just awful. We should probably go heal that before I die. Okay. I guess I already cleared it out. I don't think we're going to make it all the way through Hell Mode tonight. I think I'm going to have to call it quits. Yeah, Eternity, that was the one. But I think we're going to have to call it a night after we get past Mephisto. But, yeah, can you make Eternity in maces? Ooh. As far as like using Beast, you want either a Berserker Axe or even an Etten Axe is pretty good too for one-handers, but if you're making it like specifically for an Act 5 mercenary to use, you want a Glorious Axe, which is a two-handed axe. Oh, we need to go to the sewers, huh? But if you're making a beast to actually use, then yeah, you definitely want to go with the Berserker Axe. So yeah, if you're making it for a mercenary, then you preferably want to get an ethereal glorious axe. Which, by the way, if you are using Kryzard's loot filter, you'll have to add that in. You can go down to the beast section of the loot filter and add in or 7GI, capital OR, and then space 7 lowercase g lowercase I into the parentheses for all the things underneath the beast section. And that will allow you to see glorious axe drop. But if you don't add it in, then even if they drop, you won't see them. I'm not sure about the other loot filters. I use Kryzard's, but... Oh, okay, that would work too then. So... But Kryzard does a good job, and it kind of makes me laugh because he's got all of it still kind of set up for the Path of Diablo type stuff. Like, stuff that's really good in Path of Diablo is highlighted in PD2, but it's not necessarily good in PD2. And you know, I think eventually, you know, things like ethereal glorious axes to make beast for Act 5 mercenaries will end up getting added in by the people that make the loot filters. I'm not extremely fluent with loot filters. I learned enough to add in the +3 matriarchal spear with 4 open sockets for in Path of Diablo, and then it's all the same stuff. Like, it uses all the same coding for PD2, so I'm good enough to figure out how to add stuff in or take stuff out, but I'm definitely no expert at the loot filter things. So I have a huge amount of respect for the guys that actually write those filters, because it's a lot of work. And I would imagine that most of those guys, you know, do coding for a profession. Yeah, I'm just a simple butcher, man. That stuff's all over my head. I mean, like I said, I taught myself just enough to kind of get by with it, but I'm definitely not very good at it. But if you have a cow and a knife, I can give you a ribeye for sure. I'm actually a 4th generation butcher. My family owned a butcher shop in Wyoming for about 100 years. So I can do everything from, and then I also spent a little bit of time in the restaurant industry and apprenticed as a chef de cuisine. So I can do everything from kill the cow to make you whatever it is that you want to eat out of it. So yeah, I love smoking meat too. We did a lot of that at my family shop. You know, we made all of our own salamis and jerky and all sorts of stuff like that. Then we would do turkeys and stuff around Thanksgiving, and It's quite the involved process. We'd make all our own hams, all of our own bacon, and I still to this day, I mean, I have just a little electric smoker here at my condo, and you know, I still to this day probably use it at least 3 times a month. You don't have to move to Texas to go hunt. You can just fly out there, man. But if you ever want to go on a hunting trip, I would highly recommend going to Wyoming and go hunt elk. It's a really good meat. It's very similar to venison. It's actually really good. I really like elk meat, and I like venison a lot too. But there's a lot of really good elk hunting in Wyoming. I've shot a couple elk myself. I don't think I'll ever go do it again, just because I don't like spending 4 days on the side of a mountain in sub-zero weather. But you know, it was definitely a good experience to have. Yeah, there are quite a bit of wild hog. From what I haven't eaten any of them, but I hear they're really, really gamey. Even if you go into Arizona, you can go hunt javelinas, which is another type of wild hog type thing. And but they're also really gamey. I don't know how good they'd be for as far as eating goes. But for sure, if you guys have any meat questions at all, I'm your guy for that. And Karen seems to do a much better job of sticking around. I don't think she's despawned one time yet. So good job, Karen. And the Hierophants are so much less scary in Act 3 than they are in the Tier 1 maps. The Hierophants in the Tier 1 maps hurt so bad with their Blizzard and their Lightning hurts, and then they run away, and they're just so annoying to deal with. Ow. Yeah, if they, I would just quit or not map at all if maps had souls. I would just be like, yep, I'm done. I'll just stick to normal content. Now, I'm all for making the content more challenging, but you know, some of that stuff would just be ridiculous. So I'm very glad that they decided to leave souls out of it. Viper Drinker the Man. Chaos Armor, is that Black Hades? One socket Black Hades, alright, that's a whole lot of Charcy written all over it. And I'm really glad that the Hydras really don't hurt that bad in PD2. Like, coming from Path of Diablo, where Hydras just, like, one-shot everything, you know, me, my mercenary, or whatever, you know, Hydras seem very tame in PD2. Like, it's really relatively easy to sit here and tank Hydras. Oh no, Karen! Well, the ones that the council members casted, they casted Firebolt still. But for whatever reason, they just did ridiculous amounts of damage. And like doing bail runs, once you got to, yeah, something like that, because like even running like Bartuk, I mean, if you didn't instantly teleport away from the Hydras on the Bartuk wave of doing bail runs, I mean, your mercenary would just melt. Even with max fire resistance, and at one point in time I had a 4-socketed shaft stop with Vex runes in it, so he had 85 fire resistance and still just got melted by Hydras on wave 3 or whatever it is running Bale. And then they got even worse once you actually got into the maps. From what I heard, I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard that there was something that was glitched with the Hydras in in Path of Diablo. Ooh, little rubber bandy right there. Rubber bandy and dolls, that's not good. I just want this EXP shrine, guys. Come on. What is going on here? We're gonna get this EXP shrine. Okay, there we go. And I got stuck by Drognan for like 6 minutes the other day. Like, I just kept trying to run back I went over to Drognan and kept trying to run back to take my portal, and by the time I'd get about 5 feet away from my portal, it just warped me back to Drognan. Just over and over for like minutes. Like, I just kept going because it made me laugh. But, oh, so many dolls. Get away, dolls. So many dolls. Sorry, Wahid. We'll go ahead and give you a full juvie there, because I just blew up like 5 dolls on you, so surprised he didn't die. He even had amp damage on him. Everything, so. I do like the delayed death damage on the Stygia dolls. That makes them so much more tolerable. I don't think it's not going to be like really an end game thing as far as the Doombringer. I mean, the weekend proc is not bad by any means, but there's just going to be a whole lot better options for weapons, whether it's for you or a mercenary. I mean, really, you're probably going to want to be proccing amplify damage as opposed to weaken. Although one thing that I'm curious about is I read that on the wiki that multiple necromancers can each cast their own curse. So even if you're not like curse spec'd. So it makes me wonder if you have a weaken proc on your mercenary and then an amplified damage proc on yourself, if you can have both weaken and amplify damage. Or if it just all counts as you since it's your mercenary. Something I'm going to have to test out at some point in time, I guess. Because if you could have amp damage and weaken, that'd be pretty cool. But another thing that I gotta kind of keep in mind with curses in PD2, they're so bad. I mean, curses are just so bad unless you're a full-on curse necromancer and you invest 60 points into, at least 60 points into the tree. I mean, to get your, well, I guess you have to invest 40 to max out a single curse. So you have to have the curse mastery plus the curse itself. But, you know, just like level 1 to level, 15 curses are just, they don't hardly do anything. But it takes every bit of 40 points to get your amplify damage to reduce enemy resistance's physical resist by 70%. Whereas, in vanilla, 1 point gives you 100%. So, yeah, I think the curse build, I tried it out on single player a little bit, and it's just like all the rest of the builds where it's probably really good if you have endgame gear with it, but it felt very lackluster. Like, I think it would be much better if it didn't actually take the curses off. Like, if it just did damage based on how many curses were on a target, but didn't remove the curses, I think would be a really solid build. But, you have to get 3 curses on something, so that's 3 different casts that you have to do, and then do the Dark Pact to rip all the curses off. And when you don't do enough damage with it to kill the whole pack, then you have to recast all 3 curses again. And I mean, it takes you 8 different skills casts to actually kill a pack of guys, and it's just, I didn't much care for it. But I think it would be quite a bit better if it actually just left the curses on and did damage based on how many curses were on the target. Then it would probably be a pretty solid build. Alright, waypoint. There we go. Why can't I get the waypoint? Oh, there we go. So I was just lagging. But, I mean, like, in theory, I think that the curse build, it's a fun idea. But I think that they need to change some stuff about it for it to really be that good, or good enough to where people actually want to use it. Yeah, I like the having the utility of being able to use multiple curses, but it's I think that the build itself would be a lot better if it did more damage to where. Yeah, I agree with you, and also I agree that because they had to nerf the curses because you can have 3 of them on it at one time. It's it did make a lot of other builds suffer from it. Yeah. Oh, it does that in single player too? I didn't know it did it in single player. I mean, I've had that happen, but I just never know. I didn't know that it was actually a bug. I just thought I was lagging. Yeah, it did kind of kill some of the more utility type things that you can do with other builds that are non necromancer builds, and even then it just having 1 point in amp damage to go with the summon build is pretty lackluster. Even if you are the necro itself, it's. Okay, so still not used to the council guys being behind Mephisto yet. Actually, there's a painting of a boat right there, but I guess you guys can't see it. But yeah, I should get something to go behind me. Or do the green screen thing. I don't even know if I have the capability of doing the green screen thing. But I definitely need something other than just white behind me for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I might have to order a Diablo poster or something to throw up back there. Oh, wow. What was that? Oh, hey, a peasant crown. It's like my 4th or 5th one of those. I wish it was his big brother Shaco, but... Oh, he would love that, man. Just give him some markers. Here, go to town, bud. He's really been into drawing lately. He's just 3, so it's mostly scribbles, but he spent probably 2 hours today drawing vacuums. So, I mean, none of them really looked like a vacuum, but he thought they did, so that was good enough for him, and he sure had fun doing it, so I'd have a whole bunch of just squiggly lines and stuff behind me. But he would have a blast doing that, I'm sure. So, yeah, he can have it. I'm in the game ZCG2 with the password 1. Yeah, I spent probably 45 minutes coloring with him, trying to get him to like write his name and stuff like that. He's gotten to where he can draw, kind of write out a couple different letters. He by no means can write out the whole alphabet, but I've been trying to work with him to get him to write his name and stuff like that. But he was more interested in drawing vacuums. And then he wants me to draw vacuums, and I just suck at drawing. I'm not artistically inclined at all. But so yeah. I think that's it for me tonight as far as content goes, but I'll sit here and chat with you until you manage to get in the game, Garrett. I think I'm pretty wore out, so we'll have to save Act 4 for tomorrow probably. But oh man, it's been a long day. That little kid just wears me out. But for whatever reason, he's been wanting me to draw vacuums, houses, and spiders. They're what he's all obsessed with at the moment. Any of you guys with kids ever watch the YouTube show Blippi or YouTube videos Blippi? That's Xander's new favorite thing is Blippi, and he just all day long, that's all he wants to watch. It's just awful. You know, I'm okay with watching Monsters, Inc. 3 times in a row, but Blippi, if you haven't seen it, it's this guy that he acts kind of like a little kid. He runs around and plays with stuff, but he's got like a halfway Mickey Mouse laugh that he does, and he like shuffle dances everywhere, and it makes me want to just rip my hair out, especially when Xander wants to watch it for 4 hours straight. But I mean, he loves it, and he's actually, I mean, it's a good show for him to watch because he's learned a lot of stuff from it, but man, it just is awful for me. Yeah, 8 might be a little too old for Blippi. It's more of a, I would imagine 3 to 5-ish range is probably his demographic. I mean, she might like it, but you know, it's more for toddler age kids as opposed to, you know, kid age kids, I guess. I don't know what a kid is called once they're past the toddler phase. I guess it's just a kid. But oh hey, I could have been using that thing this whole time. Ewok. Alright, let's see what... Wow. So now we're up to 5,600 damage on Mind Blast. That's pretty awesome. We've got a mule full of stuff for Slam Fest I've been saving up. I've still got quite a ways to go. I haven't really found much stuff worth slamming yet, but I'm going to have to put this Atmas and Sandstorm Treks on there. I'm hoping to get like 30 items or so that I can slam all at once and do a little Slam Fest. And I like to get all my disappointment out of the way all at once. Anybody need a Baritza? Or yeah, Baritza. I think I'm gonna keep that. Or IK Helm if anybody needs. You guys can come to ZCG2 with a password of 1, and you can have it. Garrett's getting the Peasant Crown, and if anybody needs a Baritza or IK Helm, by all means. Pretty good roll on the gold find for the IK helm, I guess. Yeah, I'm gonna do a slam video on it. So yeah, full IK set on an Act 5 mercenary is actually really good. You get a whole lot of damage, and then on top of that, it really adds a ton of elemental damage, so they really kill physical immunes really fast. So full IK Act 5 mercenaries are really good, and you know, if you're not going to use full IK, then you just want things that, yeah, absolutely, go ahead and join this game and you can have it. But if you're not going to go with the full IK set, you just want to get resistances and physical damage reduction, like things like Vampire's Gaze, Shaft Stop. String of Ears is such a good belt for him because you have the physical damage reduction and life leech. I would highly recommend using, I use the Saigons, well on this guy I'm using the 2-piece Saigons, but the Saigon's gloves and one other piece of Saigons gives you 30% increased attack speed on the gloves themselves, and then you get the two-piece bonus that gives you 10% life leech. So 2-piece Saigons with the gloves is really good. I'm in the game ZCG2 with a password 1. So yeah, my other gear on here, I've got I'll go to Act 1. Okay, so you want the IK helm, right? Here's a Baritza if anybody wants it. Oh, you wanted the peasant crown, okay. Alright. ZCG, not ZZZ, or ZZ. So it's ZCG 2, 1. As in Zanny Cakes Gaming. YouTube and Twitch, man. I'm streaming both of them right now. I got Charles here for the IK helmet, and he's on Twitch. So, yeah, no problem, man. All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out with me. I sure appreciate you guys coming and chatting, and tomorrow we'll try and get all the way through Hell Mode. So hope you guys have a good night, and we'll see you later.